Let's continue our journey with the loops. What we're going to do in here, we're going to put those concepts, building the flow together. We will be building together the same flows that we showed in the beginning of this session, which is we can loop over a collection, do certain actions, or loop over a collection and take a decision, construct a collection, and finally hit the database outside the loop. All right, so let's jump to it. Now, let's create a schedule flow. So we're going to jump to the playground in here. We learned before that we can go from setup flows, but we learned last time that there is another way by going from the app launcher to automation, hit flows tab, and then say new. I'm going to open the same thing. We are talking about that we need to create a schedule. So we're going to create a schedule. What will be the schedule? We need to run it like midnight, and it's going to be daily. So I'm going to say it's mass in here. Let's say starting from today, midnight, run it daily. This is how we're going to work. Now, we need to get records. We need to get all the opportunities closed 7 days ago. So I'll go in here saying get records. And from get records, this is going to be the name. And I need to get opportunity. Which opportunities? This is what we need to know. So we need to make sure that the close date less than or equal 7 days. So we're going to create a formula. So let me take the name of the formula. I will say in here, close date, and this less than or equal, and I will say in here, new resource, and this is going to be a formula, and this is the name of the formula. We learned it together that the formula has all those great options. So I can say today, and this is what I need to do, and I need to say -7. So this is the formula. But the formula gonna result within a variable. So we need to know what is the data type. So since it's today, -7, so I want to set it as a date. Check syntax, everything is perfect. Now we did it 7 days ago. What is the data type that's gonna be retrieved from here? You will find it's record single, but in order to loop, and I need to get all the records. So I need to have a collection. In order to make it a collection, just go in there and say, I need all records. Now I made a collection. Now it's the time for looping. Perfect. All right, so create a loop. Here we go. We close this guy. Let me say in here, loop. And within the loop, I'm going to put opportunity loop. Which collection? I need the collection that I just got the data from. So I will be saying opportunities from get opportunity. And then I need to take certain actions. What are those actions? So create a loop action. We need to look a record. So we will be like digging more in the next future session for the approval process. And one of the actions that you will be doing part of the approval process is to lock the record. So if I said I'm submitting my expense for this specific term and I put the amount to be $5 and I submit it for my manager to approve, now I can't go back and change the 5 to be 7. Once I submit, it's done. It's logged. So we have an out-of-the-box action called lock record, which allow you to pass a record and say, this is not editable anymore unless you are one of the people that excluded from this lock record action. So I just put lock record. This is the name, lock opportunity, and this is the description. In the action, you have two options, either to lock or to unlock. So I will say I need to lock. Which record? I am already in a loop. And as soon as I put this loop, you will find the Salesforce already generated current item from the loop. So this is what I need to do. Current item from the loop. And which record is going to be the opportunity ID. This is the opportunity ID. I have allowed ID. That means, yeah, it's locked for everybody, but I need to change who is allowed to do it. So it's going to be a user or a group or a queue or a role. So let's see what they want to do in here. So I say for allowed ID, get the opportunity owner manager. So only the opportunity owner manager will be able to do it. So it's the same from here. And then I will say owner, and then I will say manager. Here we go. We made it. Make sure you selected the manager ID. On the for each after the local opportunity, we need to add another action element. What this action element? I need to post to chatter. So I'll do another action in here saying post to chatter. This is the name for it, opportunity post to chatter. What will be the message? I will need to put a new text template. So what will be the name for it? It's post body. So I'm gonna come in here saying I need to have a new resource, and this gonna be a text template, and this is the API name for it. What will be the value? In order to mention someone, we agreed in the chatter post when we were talking about within the flow, we must put it in the square brackets. So we're gonna put it in here, add square bracket, and then mention who we need to mention. So we are mentioning in here the opportunity owner, and then we put the message. So we'll put it in here. Then after that, we need to target it. So which record this is going to be targeted to? We need to put the opportunity ID. I will guess that. You must current item loop variable, opportunity loop works in resource 2 using text template. We are done with that. For target, put the opportunity ID. All right, so I'm going to say current item and then opportunity ID. We made it. So loop, get the records, loop over, 2 actions, one to lock, and the other one is to post a chatter post. That's it. Let's save this fantastic flow, and that's about it. We created the first loop hands-on exercise to do certain actions. All right, so the next one, we need to take some decisions. Update multiple records with a loop. And this is where we're gonna refresh our minds. When you need to retrieve data, do it before the loop. When you need to hit the database, do it after the loop. We're gonna keep repeating because this is one of the most important governor limits and the best practices that you have to follow. Either you are an admin building a flow or you are a developer writing Apex. You might be tempted to update group of records, putting update records element in a loop so that it runs once every record, but get records, create records, and delete records. Run a SOQL query or DML. Flows are limited to 100 SOQL per transaction and 150 DML operation. Multiplying the number of elements by the number of records processed in the loop can easily exceed those limits and cause the flow to fail. So how can you avoid it? Get the records before, hit the database after. That's it, as simple as that. So we have in here, we're gonna get all the users, and then based on when was the last login, we're gonna determine 25 days ago to 29, send an email. Greater than 30, deactivated, less than 25, do nothing. This is what we were talking about in the implementation 1 and 2, to do a full planning for your flow. What are you planning to do? What is the problem statement you are trying to solve before you jump and do it? So if I have this scenario and I need to split and do all of this decisioning and construct, we're gonna build this flow, create another schedule flow. So let's go back in here, saying flows, create brand new. What I need to do, again, another schedule. I want to check every day within the last 30 days and so on. So it's going to be at midnight, starting from today, and it's going to be daily. Now, which objects I need to retrieve? Now it's going to be the user object. But before we do that, we're going to create a formula. The formula, we will need today minus 25, and the 30, and so on. So I'm going to do formula, the API, the data type going to be date, and I need today minus 25. Done. Another one, which is the formula, and the API is day ago 30, data type is date, and finally, this is today minus 30. No magic, same magic, perfect. We have now 25 and 30, which will enable us to do a decisioning. Now let's save it. And let's do it. Just saying that we can't do anything because there is no processing, but we're gonna build it right now. So let's get active users. So we just need to get all the active users and get all records to make it a collection. So get records, get active users. Here we go. And this is the object is user. Here we go. And then we will say active equals true. Beautiful. And the last one, to make it a collection, make it all records. Create a loop element, loop over them here. So loop What is the name? This is the name. And the collection variable is user from get active users. We made it. What's next? We need to take some decisions. Create multiple outcome with a decision element. So this is going to be the decision. Here we go. Label, API. Perfect. The outcome is 25 to 29. The condition requirement is all condition last login. So all are going to be determined by the last login, greater than or equal to 25. All right. So let's do it. Last login. And this will be the current item. Last login, greater than or equal 25. And then last login, less than the 30. So this is the first branch, 25 to 30. Second branch, which is 30 plus. We're going to come in here saying it's this 30 plus branch. And I'm going to do the same thing. Current item, last login, greater than or equal the 30. Default outcome, I will name it less than 25. All right. So let's see what we ended up in here. Great. So I ended up having a decision element with 3 branches, 25 to 29, 30 plus less than 25. Now, it's the whole idea in here to see how can we update all the 30 plus bucket by making them inactive. So we need to do an update operation. So don't do that. Don't do the update record in here. We agreed that we're going to build a collection. We're going to update this value. And in order to do that, we will just need to use assignment. Put it in this saving account. Get this user. Check. Yep. Has the 30 plus. Take that user, update the value, and put it in this saving account collection. So this collection is like a saving account. You're gonna update that user, put it in there, put it in there, put it in there. And once you collected all the users that you need, you're gonna take this big collection, which is the saving account, now hit the database only once. So we keep putting investment, and then we purchase whatever we need at the very end. All right, same analogy. We're gonna do the collection, construct this collection, keep adding to it, and then once you are done, hit the database once. All right. So we're gonna, in order to do that, we're gonna do an assignment, deactivate current user. So I'm gonna do here assignment. I'm gonna name it deactivate. Perfect. All what we're gonna do, current item from the loop, then select active for operator equals false. Here, current item from the loop, active equals false. Now, what I'm doing, I'm just updating the current user to be false. But every time it's gonna overwrite for which user. So I'm gonna end up, if I didn't do anything else, it's gonna end up with the last user became inactive. But this is not what I need to achieve in here. I need to get all the users that are 30 plus and update all of them to be 30. So in order to do that, I need to have a temporary place, a collection variable, this saving account, which we are talking about, which we will keep accumulating. So I'll take record by record, set it to false, but you have to add it to this collection variable, the saving account. Once you are done and you have everything in this collection, you're going to hit the database one. I hope it's clear. Any questions? So far, so good? Lovely. The current item variable now contains the changed value. So now it's the time for add assignment. In the assignment panel, click add assignment and then new resource and then put the variable. All right. So in here, new resource, and it is going to be a variable, and the variable going to be called deactivate users. Here we go. The data type going to be a record, and it is going to be a user. It's going to be a user, and it must be a collection because I'll keep appending those multi records. And in here, I'm going to say add, and all what I need to say, add the entire user. So let's validate. So now adding an assignment variable, the activation user, select record, allow multiple users, done. And then I will say add the current item from the loop and just add the entire resource. So what I did that I started to loop. As soon as I achieved, I'll go to assignment saying set the current value to false, but I must have a place that I will be able to accumulate all of these users, which I ended up creating an S object record collection where I put all the users that satisfy the conditions after deactivating them. All right, we made it. Finally, so far, we didn't hit the database. So the last step gonna be in here. After last item, I need to hit the database. So I need to go in there saying update record, and within the update record, I'll put the deactivate and I'll put the collection, which is the deactivate users. Now it's the time for saving the flow, and we made it. So what we did so far, we got all the information before, we took the decision, we used the assignment in order to set the value and accumulate all of this in a collection, and finally hit the database once at the end. Any questions? So far, so good? Lovely. No questions. Let's jump to the quiz. So the quiz in here, it's going to be exactly the same thing. We just have a different flow. So what we need to do in here, loop multiple records through an action. Create a flow that allows users to submit multiple contracts for approval. This flow should be able to run from a button on an account, and it should submit all draft contacts. So all our focus now, it's contract object. We're going to check the status. If it's draft, we need to submit all of them, and this can be triggered from a button. Since it's a button, not schedule, so what we need to create now is an auto launch flow no trigger. So let's go back in here, new flow, and it is going to be auto launch no trigger. What do we need to do in here? We need to create a variable called account ID, and it's text. So I'll be passing, because since I'll be like doing that from an account, so I need to pass it as a parameter. And accordingly, I'm gonna come in here saying it's a text variable, and this is the name for it, and it's available for input. Lovely. What else? Add get records, get draft contracts. So get records, and the label is get draft contracts, and here is the contract. What do we need to do? The status to be draft. So I'll go in here saying I need only the status equal draft. And as we keep like repeating that, in order to make it a connection, make it all records. Which contract? Is it all the contracts that in draft mode? The answer is no. I need to only bring the contracts that belong to that parameter of the account. So I will add another one in here saying that account ID equals bar account ID. Sounds awesome. Now it's at the time for looping. So I'll get the contract loop. So I'll put in here loop. Within the loop, I will be putting contract loop. What will be the collection variable? Contract. After that, I will need to say submit for approval. This is just the action. So approval. What will be submit for approval name? This is the name. This is the API. This is the description. And which record is going to be the contract record. So current item, contract ID. Here we go. Is there anything else? Record, current item, and we need to put the comment. So you will find it here. Another one, submission comment, and we can just put it like that. Anything else? Nope, just the flow label, save it. Here we go, flow label, flow API. And we did the same thing, which is we can get all the records, do the loop, take the action, and mission accomplished. Let's verify if we made it right or not. Any questions? Sounds awesome. We made it. Lovely.